All winter long, we're gonna be grazing cows. If you're wondering, okay, how are you gonna graze cows throughout the winter? That's why this guy's here. You guys may remember Eli, he's been on the channel before. He's here today with the Kencove crew, and we're filming a really awesome video. This is gonna help you guys save money. We're gonna talk about stockpile grazing, so less money on hay bales all winter long. And also, we're gonna talk about bale grazing. Basically, the benefits of grazing your cows all winter long. So let's dive in. We got some work to do. Eli's gonna help me work today. This is great.
That's right.
Let's get to work. Now, Eli, you're not just a YouTube schmo like myself. You got some cred here. Tell everybody who's watching your expertise in grazing, in all the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Sure. So I do graze on my own farm. I've been working with the Savory Institute. I just finished up my accredited professional course with them. So I'll be doing a lot more hands-on, hands in the dirt, visiting farms, doing some consulting, and really just diving deep into the grazing world. And so winter is cool because it's not just a wasted season. There are things we can be doing now to continue that growth and really give us a boost in the spring when things kick back up again.
I'm back at our old homestead in Connecticut. Winter came and we spent a fortune on hay. Because we had not enough pasture as it was, and then winter we had zero pasture. When we moved here, we have a couple acres that we can actually rotationally graze throughout the summer, spring, summer, fall. And one of the things I was super excited about was the idea of saving some pasture, stockpiling for winter, because I knew right away it would help save money. Eli, stockpile grazing. People may have heard this, maybe not. What is stockpile grazing?
Stockpile grazing is setting aside of forage or areas of a property for grazing at a later date, mostly for the intent of winter. You know, when other forages have dropped off, it's going to be a safety net of sorts. It's forage that's already there that you're not paying for. You know, it's something that already grew. You're not out there buying the first 50 bales because you have X acres already set aside for grazing.
Yeah, that's the one. That was a big one for me. What do people need to do? What do they need to think about? What do they need to plan ahead for stockpile grazing?
You know, we're setting this aside for a later date. So instead of making that continuous lap as maybe you have planned or mapped out, we're gonna set a chunk aside, maybe following a late winter graze or something like that, something that has a chance to grow through the fall.
Midsummer, we started setting this area here aside. We didn't mow it. We weren't running animals through it. We kept this for our stockpile. How does it look to you, Eli? What is someone looking for to tell them, yeah, there's actually some feed here that I can put my animals on throughout the winter?
Sure. I mean, so basically we're looking at volume. An area kind of like this, if you get buried under snow, they might not be rooting around for this. You know, they might have given up on this and they're looking for the hay, they're ready for that. Something like this back here might stand a better chance of actually holding up to snow compression or some insulation underneath because the snow's capped over top.
There's still green grass growing through here. Height-wise, I mean, you know, you look at that, we got almost a foot of growth there. Someone just setting a piece aside later summer, early fall, and trying to get, you know, a foot of growth. Is that a good just kind of starter basic formula for stockpiling?
I would say, yeah, and as things get taller, even if they get wind blown and laid over, there's still some protection there. You know, this is kind of lumped over, but you can see this, if you would fluff this up, you know, we're talking about stuff that was this tall, you know. So that's kind of what you want. You want to get that volume, you want to set it aside, you want to try to keep it at a nutritional state that's still going to be beneficial. Not too old, you know, not too old and mature, but yeah.
If you're loving this video, there's actually a free extended version you can watch over at Kencove's channel. Just click the icon that just popped up on your screen. Eli teaches so much that we couldn't fit into a 20-minute version. The full-length version is almost twice as long, and you're gonna learn twice as much about grazing throughout the winter. Things we couldn't fit in this video. Click that button to watch that version. But if you just want the quick, succinct version, just continue watching.
What will tell us that our stockpile is finished and now it's time to supplement and go on to the next thing, which we're going to talk about bale grazing?
Well, we're standing right here with a little bit of vegetation underneath our feet, but we can make a comparison over here. This is what's inside your perimeter fence right now. You know, we don't want any exposed or bare soil showing. We want to keep that covered for, you know, insulation protection against the elements, erosion control, all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the unique things that, not to get ahead of myself, but bale grazing can offer, is that even if we've done an extreme pruning in this dormant season, we're adding some cover back. Yeah, this would be, we're grazed, we're done for the dormant season.
I can see from here, just looking over there where we were a second ago, the stockpile, I don't see any mud, I don't see any dirt. Here and all around us, at a quick glance, I can see mud, right? Bare soil. So now I know this, we need more here. They're not going to get anything from this. It's time to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. So the next thing is bale grazing.
Bale grazing.
I'm a big fan of Greg Judy's videos.
Yep.
Watching Greg Judy throughout the spring and through the summer, moving his animals in the lush fields, and oh, this is great. And listen to him talk about how much money you save when you're just grass-fed. And then wintertime came, and I'm watching them out in these ice storms, rolling out bales of hay and sometimes rolling them out by hand. He's got that fancy bale roller he uses most of the time. But I'm just thinking, like, who wants to bother? I can take my hay, throw it down in my barnyard, and I'm done. Why would someone want to bother with this, Eli? What's the benefit of this?
I think there's quite a few benefits, honestly. I don't know about you. I hate fighting equipment in the winter months. Like tractors don't want to start, and that's never fun, because if you need a tractor, you need it to go do something that you can't physically do yourself. So depending on equipment in the winter is always frustrating in a colder climate. So we can actually minimize the number of days that we depend on a tractor or an equipment. You know, we can do setup days when the weather's still decent. Today we've got a really mild day. This would be an awesome day for bringing in the next batch of bales and setting them up. So for just a couple days of prep with equipment, you could be using your tractor and park it for the winter if you needed to, because your bales are already where they need to be. So equipment is one thing. And second, I've done like the whole sacrifice area thing before, and like you're describing your barnyard, and it gets messy. It's very dependent on the weather conditions as far as what you can get in there and do, because in that case, we are bringing equipment in frequently. So you can kind of get away from these muddy, messy, wasted areas and turn the waste or the litter and the manure into something that's actually going to benefit your soil.
That's what kind of convinced me. A couple seasons of watching the waste and just thinking this could be good. We need the nutrition out here. We need it. So I've been experimenting last couple days. Before you came, I wanted to try this. I wanted to see. And so we actually have a little bit of behind us, the trail of desolation. Why is this good for our pasture? Why do we want to see manure, old, what you could call, I mean, this is wasted hay. Why is this a good thing out in our pasture?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to look at this path and these couple paths where you've had bales. You can see a difference here versus the other parts of the pasture that aren't touched yet. So, you know, this we would call litter. This is litter, stuff that's just been returned to the soil surface. Mineral cycle is huge. Erosion is a big deal. So this helps with all that stuff. It's going to lighten the impact of any kind of elements hitting the soil surface. The litter is going to decompose. This is going to feed the soil. We've got our manure, our fertilization is happening right here. You've got urine deposits. So I like to call this a direct deposit, because what happens in our barnyard scenarios, we have this winter feeding area. We keep pushing manure off to the side, pushing manure, scraping the pad, whatever we're doing. And we're actually losing a lot of that nutrient value that the soil could be getting.
No way.
So
the time that it's sitting in the corner and getting rained on and washed, the minerals that are good, even if we eventually bring it up here, we're losing it if
it's going to be diluted.
No way.
If you do a direct deposit, you're keeping, you know, maybe this bale here, you might maintain a good 30 to 40% of the nitrogen value of the bale just by keeping it on, you know, the pasture instead of hauling it to the barn. And you're just going to have much more potency of all this up here on your pasture.
Plus, I don't have to take a day or two in the spring and get it up here. That was another big win. Another thing I like, tell us a little bit about, Eli, the idea of when you're using hay from someone else's farm. you know, this was an old hayfield, but it's been literally decades since it was used for hay.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of bringing in other people's hay?
So I'm going to buy my hay in. I'm going to bring it in from a trusted source. I'm going to roll it out. I'm getting the value of their forage volume and the nutrition value through my animals back on the surface.
All right, good point there. Trusted source. I want you to look at my hay. Tell me what it looks like. What are we looking for?
Sure.
What shows us that this is a good bale?
Looking at this bale here, we're going to unroll this bale today. I see a lot of green in here. I see a lot of different variety. There's going to be some seed pods in here, and I can see some that as we unroll this are going to hit your surface and might actually do something growth-wise in the growing season.
Awesome.
So if you're bringing in less than desirable bales, you're going to have some of those seed heads as well.
Okay. Yep.
So it goes both ways. You know, if you have a good trusted source where you're pulling your hay from, it's getting unrolled, you're getting the coverage, but you're also getting some seed deposits happening.
Which, if you've gone to the feed store and bought a bag of seed, that's expensive.
Yep. Yep.
When you add together, so okay, it is a little bit of work outside in the winter time, but you got to do that anyway on the farm. So instead of taking a day to clean out your sacrifice pen, and then taking another day to spread manure, which has now lost some of its value, and then taking another day to maybe rebroadcast some seed, you're doing everything all in one, and if you plan ahead, you don't even need to fire up the tractor.
Right.
With the help of your machinery, the heavy machinery in the form of Highland cattle or mini jerseys or whatever you got, take care of all that stuff, do bale grazing throughout the winter.
Yep.
That's why eventually I went from thinking I don't want to be bothered to wait a second, I'm already being bothered. I already have to do all this work.
Right.
I can do it all at once. So let's do it, because I know I've been fumbling around with this for a couple days, making mistakes. I want you, the seasoned pro here, to show me what's the right way to bale graze. What do we need equipment wise?
Sure.
Let's set up the dinner plate because my cows are hungry.
Okay.
I really like vlogging with the professional film crew here. This is fancy. We got the drone pilot, we got the cameraman 1, camera B over there, the professional forage specialist. This is the way to do things. Any type of grazing, whether it's summer, winter, fall, spring, any season, there's a couple basic essentials we're gonna need for equipment.
Yeah.
Kencove, you guys are a fencing company. We couldn't have a better company to explain to us what essentials we need no matter what we're doing grazing wise. Eli, what pieces of the puzzle are we gonna make sure we have before we get into grazing anything really?
Sure, and that's really the beauty of it. A lot of these same products are being used in that active growing grazing season and then cycle right over to be used in the wintertime. So like behind us, we've got your high tensile fence as the main perimeter, something to hook on, something to bookend our paddocks as we move. And then we've got reels with twine, step-in posts that we can be really flexible and really creative, making any kind of shape or construction that we need to for containment, but also controlling access to either forage that's growing or forage that we're gonna supply.
Now, this high tensile fence was a game changer for us. For years, we have been trying to graze our cows without a permanent perimeter fence. And we were very, very fortunate to partner with you guys this year at Kencove. Kencove sponsored this project, so this video is sponsored. Helped us not only put up the fence, helped us design it with our rotational grazing plan in mind. Having a strong, sturdy perimeter that doesn't get blown over in the winter, doesn't get buried by snow and knocked over, allowed us to go from basically grazing only through the better time of the year, grazing when the weather was good, and even then only grazing a couple well-trained cows, to now we're able to graze, as we're showing today, all year long. And we have much larger beef cows, bulls, animals we were not comfortable putting out with a non-permanent perimeter. Now we're comfortable.
Sure.
What do we have here, Eli? The audience has just seen us use this throughout the spring and summer, but we haven't talked much about this design. Our perimeter fence, what is this?
So we got our treated wood posts, they're gonna last you a lifetime. And we've got 6 strands of high tensile wire. This is max 10 wire, highly rated for strength and durability. Class 3 galvanization, electroplated, good stuff. It looks like you've got 4 strands that are hot, 2 are non-hot, and we have those set up strategically for how animals might try to challenge the fence or just test the fence and see how far they can reach under or whatever. So we've got that strategically electrified for you.
And I have to say, this design, one of the best things about you guys as a company, Kencove, the people you call up and talk to on the phone, they have animals.
Right.
They've been designing fences for animals for decades. Rick helped us with this project. This was his, I told him what animals we had, and he designed this. So if you're watching at home and you're like, you know what, I want to do this, but I don't know what I need, Kencove can help.
Sure, absolutely.
So the perimeter fence is one piece of the puzzle. That's what allows us to have our animals actually out here, not escape. But to actually rotationally graze, we need a few more pieces of gear.
Yep.
What do you suggest somebody have gear-wise for rotational grazing?
In general, a step-in or temporary style post and a geared reel with some twine is going to help really have control and be specific about what they have access to.
Got it.
So here you can see a couple different options. This is Obrien's reel with some braided twine. We've got Obrien step-in posts with a metal spike, which are awesome in the wintertime.
Yeah, yep.
That metal spike is thin. It can really get in the frozen ground and stick. We've got some Kiwitech stuff, mini reel, and fiberglass posts with pre-assembled clips on them. So you can use a variety of anything. It's going to be finding what works for you, what works for your ground conditions.
We have a couple different reels you mentioned. This is the one that we're using most of the time here. This is the Obrien geared reel.
Yep.
You brought a couple more lightweight models.
Mm-hmm.
Why would somebody pick this versus one of those?
Sure. So with the geared reel, we've got a 3-to-1 ratio. So you're getting 3 spins for every crank of the handle. It's going to save you a little bit less work. Your arm's not going to be sore at the end of the day or anything like that. This is a little bit more weight to it, a little bit beefier. If this would be great for your perimeter fence, hooking on there, your wires can hold the weight of this geared reel. If you have something more temporary or a lighter weight exterior fence, you know, something like a mini reel or the Kiwitech that are very light on their feet, so to say, can hang on that a lot easier and not really pull posts and stretch twines.
The amount of time that this has saved me, this is a big one. If you want to do this, but you're a weekend warrior, you got to do the farm chores before you go to work in the morning, being able to hang a geared reel on a high tensile perimeter, unlock your reel, walk out your strip in 10 minutes before work, I can have this done.
Yep.
And I do. It just takes me 10 minutes a day and we're done.
Yep.
I think it's about time we actually start getting some work done here.
Yeah.
We got the hay bale ready to go, Eli. Shall we actually roll this out and let the cows come have, some lunch? All right, let's get to work.
We'll let some strings as we go. Should get them all. Ready?
Yep.
We're just watching to see if we're leaving it actually behind us as we go, which we are.
There we go. All right. Rolling out's done. Obviously, if we just left it like that, the cows would come and they'd eat, they'd be happy.
Yep.
Why bother even putting in any electric fencing in the front and the back? What are the pros and cons of that?
Sure. Well, the electric fence is going to control what they have access to. So if we have more bales set up ready for future days, it keeps them from getting into that.
Yep.
And it also just controls how skinny of an area that they are dropping that manure and urine. So getting really concentrated areas of deposits.
I've been experimenting a couple days with this, Eli. We found one whole round bale was too much for our cows. They were wasting it.
Okay.
So I'd like to run a line down the middle so that they only can eat about half of the bale today, tomorrow, and then the second half the next day.
Portion control.
How do we want to set this up? What's the right way to put the reels on?
Sure.
We got a hot wire, a not hot wire, and then a hot wire. Show us the right way to do this.
Sure. We'll just we'll go ahead and use this as the handle or the hook end, and then we'll hang the reel at the lower end when we get down there. So here we have an insulated handle. This is your reel, and we'll just pick our hot strand, and basically we can give this a wrap around to get the electric contact, and then you can just hang here, hang up here, whatever you want to do.
Gotcha.
The other option, we've got like the Zammr handles. that have the electrified hook and the insulated hook.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I love that.
if we need to adjust before we're finished, we can just hang it on the insulated hook. That way you're not getting shocked while you're grabbing this. And then when you're ready to go live, you can just back it off and put it on the metal.
I like that, because I can't tell you how many mornings I forget to turn the fence off.
Yeah.
And I come up here and you're working in high, you know, in the summertime, high wet grass in the morning.
Yep.
That shock's no fun. So that
Exactly.
Zammr handle, as soon as we're done filming this, I'm going inside. I'm going to order one of those. And you guys, if any of this equipment you need, check out Kencove's website. Give them a call. You can order on the phone. Great to work with. Awesome quality stuff. So we'll have links below to all the gear and, of course, to Kencove's website.
Thanks,
so
man.
check that stuff out.
Cool.
All right, let's put this up.
All right, I'm going to pay this out. So we got our latch here is going to let us free spin off of here. We got a good tug. And I'm just going to pay out. I'm going to let you put the posts in where you want them.
Great. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. How's that right there? There we go. The hay's so thick there, I had to make a little pocket so I could get to the dirt.
Beautiful.
Perfect, you got it. All right, cool.
Oh, he's on a roll now.
All right, I'm ready. Is Mac Farms hiring?
Yeah.
Explain the lock system here, because we haven't shown that yet.
Sure.
What's that for and how do they use that?
This is our lock. When we're paying out, it's just kind of held out of the way by this tab. But when we're ready to lock the tension in, we just get it past that tab, and it's going to catch one of these teeth down here, which doesn't allow your bobbin to pay out anymore. When it's up here, this is just a free spin. So when we're ready to lock the tension, we can just set it at, you know, whatever we think our pull is going to be, and maybe right there would be a good setting. If you want a little bit extra tension, you could even get to there. And then that's going to hold our tension while we walk away from the fence.
We got the hay rolled out. We got our stepping posts in. Our twine is ready. It's time to serve the cows lunch. Let's call them in. Come on, cows! Woo! Come on, cows! Now, obviously, we're out here filming, we're working, and this took 8 times as long as it normally does. That's the way YouTubing works. If I were to come out and do this in the morning, I've been doing it the last, the last week or so, just practicing. And I didn't know all the tricks you taught me today, so it took me a little bit longer, but really 10 minutes or less. Rolling the hay out adds a little extra time to that. In the summertime, I can do all my grazing, all my moves in 10 minutes or less. If you got to roll out a bale of hay, add the extra, 10 minutes it takes you to roll out the bale of hay or whatever it is. The point is, if you're a weekend warrior, if you're a homesteader who has a full-time job, you are a perfect example. If you haven't seen the video we did with Eli, we'll have a link to that. You can check that one out. We went to Mac Farms and you showed us your routine using Kencove products, perimeter fence, strip grazing. You do that before you go to work at Kencove all day long. Every day you get your moves in, and you're doing daily moves, right? Yeah, so with the right design and the right equipment, you can save money, improve your pastures, enjoy working with your livestock, have way less to clean. That's what converted me. I hate cleaning the barn. All this, it just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of know-how, and the right tools. And the right tools is where Kencove comes in. So again, guys, Kencove has partnered with us on this project. Give them a call. They can help you design this system. Your guys' sales staff, I remember we were at a Kencove get-together not too long ago. Everybody's got animals. You're sitting talking goats and you're talking sheep. So when someone calls you up and says, hey, I have a bunch of goats, they're escape artists, what do I do fencing-wise? You guys can help.
We use the products. We live it. That's the kind of lifestyle we like to have personally, and everybody there's got a pretty good working knowledge of the product. So
Eli works on their marketing team, starts his day off moving Highland cattle, then goes to work for the fencing company. This is the way this company is. So I cannot say enough good things about Kencove. The design process, Kencove is there to help. You know, give them a call. These are people who know animals and work with animals. When it comes to designing this setup here, I know for me, I'm not a real handy person. I didn't grow up on a farm, so I was super overwhelmed by what I even had to consider in this design. And a high tensile perimeter fence is pretty permanent.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you get it right. So for those of you who want to do something like this but don't even know where to start, we got some plans. We're going to get you on a live stream here on YouTube, live stream, where you can answer the questions. We're going to talk about how to design your perimeter fence, and then if you're watching live, you'll be able to ask Eli questions live, and we'll cover all that. So to make sure you don't miss that, we'll have a link below to our email list. Sign up to the email list, and we'll give you a heads up when we're going to do that live stream. I went to you guys when I wanted to partner with a fencing company. We were customers in the past. We had purchased products on our own, and I said, you know what, this is a quality company. They make good stuff, and they're a Pennsylvania brand.
That's right.
Our neighbors in PA. So check out Kencove's website, kencove.com. You guys also have a YouTube channel where you did a video not too long ago here where we talked about this project. So you can learn more about our design, the design process. I share a really good tip with any of you who've maybe got some concerns and you're not sure what to do for a fencing design. I got a great tip for you there. So if you want to see that video, click right there to head over to Kencove's YouTube channel and make sure to give Kencove a call. They can help you design your system, and they got all the gear you need, and it's awesome quality stuff. So thanks so much, guys, for coming today. Eli, this was a huge help, man. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.